All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be fixing what we tried to start implementing yesterday, which was our getting double egg points. Getting double egg points when you get the egg in the air, but we've determined that's actually wrong. It's if an egg bounces, if there's a ground collision detected on the egg, then it's just a normal points. So it's not so much in the air, it's just if it bounces. Because if it bounces from a high spot and then you collect it while it's in the air, you don't get the bonus. You have to hit it before it touches the ground. So our eggGrounded function that we added yesterday is actually not helpful to us. So yeah, we actually need to give I'm pretty sure we need to give a vulture.egg. We need a method, or we need a field in our egg class that is a boolean that is called something like bounced off floor. We initialize it to false. Now if we collect an egg and when it's bounced off floor as false, that's when we need to give the double points. And we not only need to add the double points to our score and everything, but we need to render in yellow the bonus points right above the white points. Excuse me. I'm in a kind of sad mood today, so I'm sorry if that's been a bummer for you. But I said I was going to program. Okay, so we have a boolean called bounced off floor, part of our egg class. Okay. Now we started as false. Now we need to cycle through. No, we already do this. So in our play state, when we cycle through our egg, checking for egg ground collision, that's when we need to where is our egg ground collision? Do we do it in the update function here? No. This is our ostrich egg collision, but we need here we go. So we cycle through our list of vultures, and every vulture that gets exploded will have an egg instantiation as a field. And we're cycling through every egg of every vulture, checking for ground collision on the platform, or on the ground platform, and then we're cycling through all the platforms to check. You know, we had to separate this out because the ground platform's a little different. It's going to be shrinking, and a ground platform doesn't have side collisions, I don't think. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure how that works. But it's as simple as this. If every, cycling through our vulture, all of our vultures, we're going to say if we ground collide with the ground platform, then our vulture dot egg dot, what is it? Egg bounced off floor. What is it? Just bounced off floor. We're going to say egg bounced off floor gets true. So this Boolean will help us determine that we don't need the double score points at that point. If we collect an egg and the bounce off floor is true, we just give it the base points. But we need to double the points if that's false. If a bounced off floor is false and we collect an egg. So we also got to check it for every collidable platform. And if our vulture egg ground collides with any of the platforms, we need to bounced off floor get set to true. And then left and right, probably fine. I don't think bounced off. I think you can get a double points if it has a side collision on a platform just before it hits the ground and bounces up, you know? So we've got a Boolean there, but it's not really doing anything for us right now. We've got to go find where we update our scores, which is right here. So instead of this check eggGrounded, we say if vulture.egg dot, what is it? Bounced off floor. So look, here we say two things. We say if it's bounced off floor, and then we say otherwise. So if it's bounced off floor, we give ourselves the normal score amount. We increment our score by the score amount. Yet otherwise, that means we collide. That means our player one would collide with a vulture egg that hasn't bounced off the floor, in which case we get 2 times this amount. Now part of me is thinking about this score amount. See, this is going to be screwed if we're assuming that the score amount we assign. Where do we do this? We say score amount. We initialize the table with these values somewhere. Where do we do that? Score amount. Where would it be? Oh, in our vulture. No. See, look, we have playstate. Our playstate itself has a scores table. Okay, so we need to see where we assign our scores table. We initialize it to an empty table here, and then here it is. Okay, so we should call this score table initialization, or something like that. So that, because what I'm worried about right now, we have it where, see, that's good. We put this quote in here to say that, hey, this 250 is just because it's a bounders score, not necessarily the correct score. So once we make what's it called? Hunters. Once we make hunters and shadow lords, we're gonna have to do this a little different. Yeah, it's almost like what we need to do is cycle through every vulture, check what its tier is, and then populate. Shoot, that doesn't work either though, because we need to keep track of which egg is which tier, not just a table from lowest to highest. Okay. To be honest, I don't know exactly sure if hunters even get a higher base point than bounders do, so we might not have to do something different like that, but probably will. We'll have to do some testing later. Let's go see where we have bounced off floor. Okay, so now in our score, yeah, we have if we bounced off floor, and then we need the same thing for here too. See, I don't like that those are coupled. But I really don't know how to do it differently, because there's just different circumstances in which we detect a collision with the egg pickup on the player ostrich, so I don't know what else to do there. And this one is like a super rare case. It'd be like if somehow we got to the floor and we were walking. Actually, this one is the one that's a weird case. If we kill an ostrich and we get to the floor before the egg does, and we're walking slower than a 3, it doesn't detect the collision until our X is basically like right in the middle of that egg for us to pick it up. Because in the original, since the ostrich rectangle, you know, like if you imagine an egg on the floor here, the egg on the floor would detect a collision right here as soon as the ostrich pixel hits the egg. But then if you look at it, the egg would be down here and the ostrich doesn't even touch it. So that's why if you're walking slow enough, the ostrich, its feet basically need to be touching the left side of the egg in order for the collision to be detected. So that's why we have it all weird like this. But if a vulture bounced off floor, increment score just by score amount. See, but then we need something else, because we need to determine. We're going to give us twice the score. But we also need to render, you know, if that's the case, if this is the case where we get the double, we need to do something where we say double score gets true or something on the egg, right? No. Because we need to be able to tell in our render function, hey, the score that was picked up now needs to render a yellow 1 on top as well. So this is where we would need to add that logic to be like, hey, set a flag to signify that it's a double score. So where do we... Oh, you know what? Yeah, we can probably do it in the egg. So like in our play state, we just have a render. We just have we render all the scores in the table as long as the timer is higher than 3, right? But we need to change our render function to say, that'd be in our print score. Shoot, print score. Okay, so is that what we're rendering then? No. We're not actually using print score, are we? Shoot. Yeah, where the heck? We're not rendering our... Oh no. See, it's almost like we need to just say render print score, and then in our print score render we need to say cycle through the scores table. But our scores table is a member of our play state, and in the past when we try to use fields from the play state in our other classes, Lua doesn't like that. So does that mean we need to initialize our scores table in, I don't know, god dang. we can also do this differently. We don't have to have, I'm kind of tempted, like, why do we even have print score? What does print score even do, man? Because if we're not rendering it, yeah, so print score handles the timer. And you don't see us set it to 3 here because it's not set upon instantiation. It's set upon collision detection of an egg. But we're not actually rendering print score. Are we? Yeah, because so how does it know? Yeah, currently, how does it know not to... So we're rendering a scores table. Yeah, we're not rendering a print score, are we? What is this scores table? Is that a print score object? Scores table K. Scores table. Oh my god. Yeah, it's a table of print scores. Okay. So that's a little weird, because print score, we should probably change the title of print score, because print score is really just an object that holds a last X position and a last Y position of an egg and a score amount. Those are all the parameters, and then it's like an object, and then the scores table is just a table of all those objects. I still don't get why. Oh, no, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we are using it. The render right here on the scores table, see, this isn't using render on a table, it's using render on an index of a table, and the index of a table is actually a print score object. So running the render function on the print score object would run this code. So yeah, in our print score, we need to say something like, yeah, I guess we would need a print score double score, and then if it's double score and the timer is greater than 0, then we render the double score. So we need to say something like self double score or score bonus, We're gonna start it to true because most of the time, yeah, we're gonna start it to true because if you kill a vulture in the air, double score would be true until it hits the ground, right? And then if you kill a vulture standing, the egg instantiates higher than the floor level, so it would also be true in that case. So we need to set our double score to be false upon a bounce. And then we need to render our double score if double score is true for each score in our print score table. Okay. Where we've got here. So look, if egg bounced off floor, normal score. Otherwise, we need to say self.scores table at the egg count index in the field of double score gets false. Wait, yeah, we need to change it to false, but we need to change it to false if egg bounced off floor, because it starts off as true. So we need to move this. So if egg bounced off floor, then And we need to do this before we add our score. Well, I don't know. I guess we just do it right here first. Our scores table and our egg count index in our double score field gets assigned false because the vulture egg bounced off floor and we collided with the egg that had been bounced off the floor, so we're no longer a double score. Yeah, so we would also need to put this here for our other speed, and then we need to go to our print score and say, you know, we're going to render the score amount regardless, but we're going to render if double score is true, you know, so we can say if double score, well, if self dot double score, if self double score is equal to true, then that's when we need to do a couple of things, one of which is set our color to yellow and also print out our score amount right above our white score amount. So not at the last Y, but at the last Y minus 10 pixels. And we need to set this to yellow. If we're on RGB, what's perfect yellow in RGB? You know, we want some bright yellow. So bright yellow is basically full up on the R and G, and then low on the blue. So if we do full up on R and G and then 77 on the blue, that should be yellow. So we can give ourselves those values here, and there's R and there's G, here's B, 77, and alpha, fully opaque, rendering the same score at the same X, just 10 pixels higher. 10, 10's just a guess, so we might need to tweak that. Might need to be 5 or 15 or something. But, yeah. And then here, remember, double equals is equality. If double score is equal to true, but then here, double score gets true, which it starts off as true, and then in the update, not even in the print score update, but in the play state update, if we detect the collision, we're setting our double score to false. Detect the collision of the egg on the floor, we set our double score to false, and that would make it so we only get 1 point. Now ours is going to be a little harder to test. So like when we do this render, it's rendering the object of our print score inside our scores table, and if double score is true, it should render the yellow now. So let's give it a shot. I was going to say that the original game has a little less leeway than I do on the like, let's say a vulture's here, you're flying through, you kill it, an egg spawns, you're flying through and the egg's right there. It doesn't pick up the egg right away. I have a buffer time built in, and so does the original, but my buffer time is like a little bit longer because I felt like it was a little more challenging. Because if in the original, if you kill him and you're moving slow enough, you capture the egg right away. And ours is possible to do that too, but it's just easier on the original. So I'm just curious if it might work. So we're trying to capture, oopsie, trying to capture an egg before it hits the ground, and we fucked. It's tricky. I don't know if that bounced or not. It's hard because logic. Oopsie. Yeah, we get just so much of a bounce. I need to not have a top collision. I need to have a solid side collision. Shit in my butt. Fucker. Shit. Oh, see, and then... Shoot. That was that kind of... that time I was telling you about. That... Oh, that was cool. Oh, that was it! The yellow score, did you see it? It's a little too high, and we need like 8 pixels higher, but that was there. I couldn't verify if it added the double score correctly, but it looked like it rendered it. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, you know what? Let me take off, for real quick, I'm gonna take off the timer on the, where do we even do that? Look, this invulnerable. So we have an egg invulnerable. So in our play state, we probably have, yeah, look, if egg's not invulnerable, where do we switch invulnerable to false? Nowhere. Or we do it here? Yeah. See, look, this timer. What I'm gonna do is instead of, oh, actually we could do it here if it's invulnerable timer is greater than 0.01. Oh, you know what? Before I do this, we have it at 0.6. We should probably have it at 0.5, but I'm gonna do 0.01 and leave us a little note saying 0.6, but probably should be 0.1 or 0.5. So now our invulnerable, we're only invulnerable for 0.01 seconds. So now we should be able to more easily get a Goram egg to render. God dang it, I just barely missed it. Dude, yes. So we need not 10 pixels higher. Let's do 6 pixels higher. And see that. So yeah, as soon as it bounces, we don't render that double. But there we go, double. Heck yeah, bro. Maybe another... I want to have a little bit of breathing room in there. Wow, I really did that. Nice. Nice. Nice, bro. Dude, that's the money. That's the money, son. Cool. I'm gonna see if we actually get double score. So 500, fuck. So if we get double score, it should be a 2000 by fucking shit. If we get double score, it should be 500 for the bounder kill, giving us the 3, and then 750 times 2. God damn it, that's so hard to... Damn it! Damn it! I'm going to assume we did it right. This isn't very fun to test, but you know, I think the move is to just watch our screen as we, you know, like I'll just watch the stream or watch my recording of it when I gathered it and make sure that our score was incrementing by the right amount. I think we're good though. So we took out our eggGrounded function, and instead we just have it, you know, our double score gets set to true. We only set it to false upon a ground collision for the egg on either the ground platform or any of the collidable platforms. And this isn't quite right in the sense that in our other spot here we have right here we have this 250 hard coded in for when we iterate through the scores table, and this is only for wave 1 anyway, so we still got so much more to do. But you know, we have to do some testing and figure out if hunter eggs start out at a different point value than bounder eggs, and then we need to see, yeah, this is even, because we could theoretically have on wave 1 only Shadow Lords, which are worth different for killing, and I feel like their eggs are worth different too. I just really don't know. I'll have to do a lot of testing. Yeah, but hey, we got the thing implemented. Super happy about it, and we can mark it off on our list here. We do catching egg in air gets more points, double if egg collected before ground collision. That's what we just did. And we render yellow bonus above white points, 8 pixels above the white points. And then this is what I was just talking about. We have to figure out what the points of the eggs are, because right now we populate our scores table with empty dummy print score objects because Lua doesn't like when you try to initialize a table of objects, or when you cycle through a table of objects when they're not, when those objects don't have parameters to get initialized correctly. So we have to give it dummy parameters. I don't know if there's a better way of doing that. It's just been my workaround because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But we'll start. I feel like the thing that's coming up next is we got to figure out that egg logic and the bounder / hunter / shadow lord collision points logic. We have to do all that research, and then implement that, and then, yeah, because we're going to be creating, our vulture needs different tiers, and the different tiers render different sprites because they're different colors for the vulture. They have different AI, and they have different points. So upon a collision of an egg, we need to detect whether or not, you know, or what tier system of vulture the egg inherits the point base from, and then we need to somehow figure out a smoother way of initializing our scores table, or rather updating our scores table with the right values in our field of score amount, because right now they're just they all start at 250 in the increment. Yeah, a little tricky, but we'll be good. We'll figure it out. Making good progress. Yeah. If we look at our get diff here, you can see we added a boolean to our egg class called bounced off floor. We took out our eggGrounded function we wrote last episode. We added a boolean of double score to our print score class. We render double score right above the white score if our double score is equal to true. We should probably change this before we commit our invulnerable timer. It should be probably less than a half a second. I feel like the original had it at like a third of a second or something. So if we do anywhere from 0.3 to 0.5, it's probably fine. Because we want you to be able to get the double points, but we don't want it to be such a gimme, you know. Oh, you know what? And let me finish running through the git diff and see if there's anything else we need to fix. This is actually a good practice to do, is run through the git diff before you commit, just for little mistakes like that, you know. We changed this note to be called score table initialization, so we could search through and find the score table in it easier. We have this is actually where we double our score if our double score is supposed to be doubled, and then we do that for both speeds, and then we also flag our boolean bounced off floor if we detect that collision. So yeah, good update overall. Let us go into our we need to find the spot where what is going on? Why is that the same crap over and over? What is it? I'm just spacing on what I said we were going to fix. It was the 0.06 on the invulnerable, which was in what? Was that in the egg class? No? Fuck. Invulnerable. It is in our vulture update function. So let's go to invulnerable timer and we'll fix that real quick before the commit. So vulture update invulnerable. We're gonna put this up. Let's say 0.4. We'll just say 0.4, and then we can make it a little harder if we want. I feel like 0.4 is closer to what the original game had it, a little more lenient. I feel like 0.3 is probably closer to what the original was, but I like to make mine a little more difficult for whatever reason. And then, yeah. We're gonna add everything to the staging area with a commit message saying added double score. And removed our eggGrounded function. Yeah. And then we'll push it to our origin main and call it a day. Thanks for watching, guys. Coming up on episode 100, I think, what is this, episode 94 or something? 95. So yeah, we're on episode 95. That's big and sick. That's awesome. Coming up on a 100 episode extravaganza. Maybe we'll come up with something fun to do for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll try to get some more functionality in there.